continue on down this road. Huh, bird. I think this is pretty cool. I'm finally doing this. Been planning on doing this for ages. That is where a lady called Miss Spence used to live. I don't know if Spence was her last name or if it was Spencer or something, but it's what everyone knew her as, Miss Spence. And when I was young, I thought she was a mean old lady because she was an old lady, and once we tried to hold a lemonade stand outside and she told us we couldn't, so in my little kid mind, I thought she was a mean old lady. And then my dad and her were talking like by the car, and I walked over and, like, hey Dad, like right out there. And she started talking to me, and she was talking really nice. I remember she gave me a present one time. I don't remember what it is, and she had me try it was either cherry tomato or a grape tomato. I can never remember which is which because they're it's tiny tomatoes. And I was like, wait, what? I just swallowed? She's like, well, you can just swallow if you want, or you can chew it. And I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. And my opinion of her changed. Then she died. That wasn't fun. Well, it's not like she died in front of me, but yeah, I think I'll go down this road first. This isn't where I lived, but I have a few memories of here. Yep. I think it's, yeah, that blue one right there. Yeah, that was it. It's definitely that blue one because that gray one wasn't there. That blue trailer is where that little kid I used to always play with named Joey lived. I was just having a lot of fun. I only went in his house like twice, and once was because I even back then I used the computer a lot, and his mom or his aunt or something was like, oh, you know how to work electronics? Maybe you can come help us get the PlayStation working. And they were trying to hook the PlayStation up to a TV, and they were hooking up to a VCR, and of course the VCR had like 8 in ports and 8 out ports, and I'm sitting there like, what the hell? Where does what go? And even now I don't like hooking up crap with the VCRs because it just adds complication to this stuff, but yep. I had a lot of fun. Joey looked up to me and he made me feel important, so I was always watching him. And almost past it. I know I'm pointing down a lot. That's just because I don't want anyone getting freaked out. In that yard, when it snowed here, someone made a snowman and they gave it boobs, and I thought that was the most hilarious thing I have ever seen. Just wanted to point that out. Okay. Yeah, I definitely picked a bad time to do this. Should have done it in the middle of the day. Oh well. Going along here, I don't really know anyone from around here. Basically, if they weren't around my age, I had no clue who they are. And this house. What the fucking hell? That's definitely new. Okay. That house. Oh, the shed thing is new. Well, I guess that's not to be surprising. I guess it can't even really be said that trailer, but that spot is where Michael Christopher Kramer, my best friend when I was growing up, used to live. Yeah. Now Scotty Senecal lives there, who used to live like right there in a trailer sideways there, but then Kramer and his family moved out because one day during a hurricane, a tree fell and split the trailer half, just like right through the kitchen. Yeah. Anyways, that shed there with the designs that made me freak the hell out because I never noticed them when I was here, because I've come through here multiple times to relive my past and to, try to figure out what I'd talk about during these. Remember his stepdad, Vernon, who he called Vern instead of Dad because he didn't really get along with his stepdad, was building that shed. I remember that. But, yep. That fence has pretty much always been there. Beware of dog. They had a dog, Brandy. It was this little, I don't know, golden retriever mixed with something. It was a small dog. It wasn't as big as a full-size golden retriever, but she was a funny dog. She would bark and he would always entice her. One time she grabbed him by the pants leg and started pulling him across the yard because she wanted to play, and he's on the ground fake struggling. Oh my god, help me! I'm just sitting there laughing my ass off. But yeah, and his mom always made him clean up the crap in the yard because, dog crap's in the yard and it's all fenced in and stuff, you gotta clean it up. He didn't like that, so he'd always pick it up in a newspaper bag because that's just what they used. And what he would do when he thought no one was looking was to fling the bag up so it would get stuck in the tree branches. So generally you'd look up and there'd be a few bags in the tree. But of course not everyone looks up, so most people didn't notice it. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with Kramer there. There's Scotty there, who still plays StarCraft religiously. I mean, like, I stopped by a couple months ago, and it was like 2 in the morning, I noticed him coming from the car. I'm like, whoa, what the hell, Scotty? He's like, dude, George! Of course, we recognized each other, because Scotty and I didn't really get along back, when everyone was growing up. Scotty was really tall, and he's still really tall, like thin and tall. He played StarCraft and stuff, and it was pretty dorky. So we're like, oh, look at the dork, even though we were like just as equally dorky in a different way. But kids have their prejudices. Anyway, so I stopped by, and he's like, yeah, and what the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, and he started telling me like about StarCraft games he's played. I'm like, wow. Anyways, yep, time to go back. There's different roads here, and they curve and intersect and stuff, so I'm trying to cover all of them without, backtracking too much or missing things or going off topic. I'm trying to work through it. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Methodically? Wow, I feel stupid now. Why did I stick a G in there? And the next house to talk about is going to be a good one, because it involves retro gaming. Yeah, when I move the bike, I grip it by the underside of the back seat to move it. That trailer right there. I live in the brown one, that one right there. I remember I went over there once, and there was a pair of kids living there, and I only got to know them for a few days before they all moved away, but I remember it was the younger kid and the older kid was I don't know, 14 at the time, and he's sitting there playing on some game system I didn't recognize. I now know that it's Super Nintendo, and he was playing some game, and he was doing some final boss, and a couple years later I thought about it and I realized, oh my god, he beat Final Fantasy VI in front of me, when I was 7, because I remember him, the tower thing. I'm like, oh wait, that tower thing was the final form of Kefka, or however you pronounce it. And he was like, oh man, I didn't equip, all my characters with the jump thing, the Dragoon boots, or whatever the hell it is. I can't go look it up right now, but yeah, so yeah, he beat it, and he told me that once he beats a game, he never plays it again. I thought that was huh, it's kind of a waste, because video games are fun to play again, because I had a Sega Genesis, and I played the hell out of Sonic 2, and Sonic and Knuckles. I never did have Sonic 3 by myself. My little brother had Sonic 3. When I moved down there and meet my little brother, I didn't bring Sonic and Knuckles, and I was so sad, because oh my god, I had this, and we could have made the awesome game, because I remember my friend Jeff and I Jeff was a big Sonic fan. I was a big retro Sonic fan. I call it retro now, but it was the in thing back then. And I used to always tell him that I read on the internet that if you combine Sonic 3 with Sonic and Knuckles, you got the levels of both, plus new super forms, plus new special stages and everything. Because the level select in both Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles shows you every level, even though each game only has half the levels. So I would, go into level select in Sonic 3, and there'd be the names and stages of levels I can't access, and I daydream about how awesome it would be to play those extra levels. But yeah. There's a porch. There's a tree which had its branches cut off. I used to like climbing that tree. Oh, I miss my cat, Cupid. He died ages ago of feline leukemia, but he was an awesome cat. He was a purebred Burmese cat, and holy crap, was he a lap cat, affectionate to anyone that would, even so much as look at him, he's in your lap. Anyways, I lived there for years and years, and I moved away, and then I moved back, and when I moved back, I lived in that trailer right next door, which I will cover in the next part.